What's happening, guys? We're talking about the anatomy of the goat. I mean, it's so many people, so many places. Everywhere you turn, somebody is arguing or disagreeing about who's the goat. And I've been trying to get everybody to understand that that is a subject that is subjective. You can argue that point to your blue in the face. If somebody believes one person is the GOAT, they believe that one person is the GOAT. Nothing wrong with that. But what I'm going to attempt to do is to get you guys to look at this in a more comprehensive way. So, the NFL has been around for a lot of years, which means there's a lot of great players that came through the NFL. And some of them you're going to hear about on this video. I'm going to try to enlighten you on your subject points to get you to see that, hey, you can only say this about that player, but did you know about this player? Because when you're seeing the greatest of all time, you have to be comparing everybody. And unfortunately, you haven't seen everybody. You have the means to see them, but some of you choose not to see them. You know why you choose not to see them? It's because you don't want your mind to be changed. But I'm going to tell you, if you watch this video from start to finish, and you finish the video and you say, my person is still the GOAT, then I know you're either one or two things. You're either ignorant or you're not that smart. One of the two. And the reason I say that is because I'm going to give you irrefutable evidence to show you that there's a lot of people should be brought up in the GOAT conversation. Now, a lot of people are going to ask me, well, Swag, what you saying? Because Tom Brady is the GOAT. I hear you, but I'm going to show you irrefutable proof in this video why you should just hold off on that. Because Tom Brady was a child that was born to the NFL by other players. And that's what this video is about. The anatomy of the GOAT. Stick around from start to finish. And I promise you, the one thing, I promise you, I'm going to accomplish the goal of getting you to open your mind. And maybe you'll see things just a little bit different when you're seeing the greatest of all time. This is your boy Swag Holly. So I want you to chill, sit back, relax, and enjoy.
Yo, you tune into the best. Word up! Live on the TikTok. Yeah, the man is here. Swagholic Sports is dropping knowledge, make it crystal clear. Then hit the YouTube, that's the replay of the illest takes. We talking Swagholic Sports, for goodness sake. Ex-Swagholics on the screen! We got apparel by Swagholic, fresh and so clean. The swag is just insane! It's the #1 sports show, remember the name. Peace Swagholic Sports. Swagholic Sports!
I think we got a heck of a shot of winning. We beat anybody in the world, and I think we're going to win next Sunday.
We all felt we could win. We won. Baltimore felt they could win. They lost.
So, in order for us to talk about the GOAT, we have to talk about the history of the NFL. Now, I'm going to be honest with y'all. A lot of you guys don't know the history. Like, in 1939 was the first time they ever televised an NFL game. This is back in an era and a time where football players smoked cigarettes on the field. They smoked cigarettes on the bench. They smoked cigarettes on in the locker room. All of those things. That because these guys were normally people who had another job that played football on the side. Nobody really expected the NFL to be this big. So I need you to understand that because you need to understand the context of when we're talking about the GOAT, how far this goes back. And that brings me to my first person I believe should be in the GOAT conversation. And nobody ever mentions his name, and it blows me away. And that's Joe Namath.
He set the bar for what a superstar is.
Joe Namath changed the game. And if you don't know anything about football in this time, then you have to really understand that what you guys talk about today, that didn't matter back then. What mattered was how good you were and how much you won. That's all that mattered. And Joe Namath changed all that. There was no such thing as $1 million contracts to Joe Namath came. There was no such thing as that. Joe Namath, there was no such thing as sitting on a bench with a fur coat. That was no such thing. That wasn't heard of. And definitely this wasn't heard of. A quarterback predicting that they were going to beat a team that was supposedly more superior than them. This dude predicted. He just literally came out and said, "We're going to beat the Baltimore Colts." When nobody in the world believed that they could beat the Baltimore Colts. That alone is GOAT status. I mean, and not only did he do that, he went off in the game and just ripped their secondary apart. Anybody can take the time out to go back and watch the Baltimore Colts versus the New York Jets. And I'm telling you, I did it. That was a hell of a game that Joe Namath played. He had the utmost confidence. He wasn't afraid of the Baltimore Colts. And everybody thought the Baltimore Colts would go in this game and just beat the hell out of the Jets. I don't think the New York Jets have ever made it to a Super Bowl since Joe Namath. And how are we not putting him in the GOAT conversation? Let me see. I changed the game. I spoke up. I backed my words up. I was flamboyant. I was cocky. And I was good. But he's not in the conversation. I have never heard anybody put Joe Namath in the GOAT conversation. And he should be in the conversation. Now, I'm not saying that he's the GOAT. I'm just saying he should be in the conversation. And while I'm at it, there were some more quarterbacks in his era that were really, really good, like Johnny Unitas. And you're probably saying, well, wow, how is it that we miss people like Joe Namath and Johnny Unitas? Well, let me tell you why. January 15th, 1967 was the first time they aired the Super Bowl. So I'm gonna be honest with you, if you didn't have a TV, you couldn't watch it. The only way you can hear about somebody in the NFL back then was they had to do something great. They had to do something fantastic, something we had never seen before. And that was Joe Namath. Now, Johnny Unitas did his share of greatness. He had his share of greatness. Lynn Dawson, he was in that era too. He had his share of greatness. There was a Bart Starr. He had his share of greatness. All of those guys were in those eras. But the one person that I can truly say in that era can say that they have their name in the conversation of the GOAT, it's Joe Namath.
Well, I feel confident I can play better than anybody that's ever played the position.
Namath, he is looking, he is going to throw long, and Maynard makes the catch.
Joe Namath, of course, is the man that the Colts have to stop. But Namath has not been bashful this week. He has said that the Jets are going to win. He doesn't even predict it. He said, I guarantee. Namath, red hot. Everybody thought he'd get killed in this game. He has killed Baltimore so far.
What made that so real for everybody is that he was as good and he delivered on everything he said.
The game is over. The New York Jets are the world champions. They have upset the Baltimore Colts and beat them handily here today.
Joe, you're king of the hill.
No, we're king of the hill. We got the team, brother.
Jets won the Super Bowl. We go out and play football. Everybody was screaming, "Oh, I'm Namath. No, I'm Namath." Namath was a god.
We have to understand the history before we can say the greatest of all time. Now, the first dual threat quarterback in the league was Fran Tarkenton. Yeah, if you hadn't watched him on video, you might want to go to YouTube and look him up because he made people day bad. He made them suck air like you wouldn't believe. You couldn't stop. This guy was unbelievable. He can throw the rock accurately and he can run it. And he was fast.
Fran Tarkington was really the first model of the mobile quarterback. He would just go all around, run all around, and play in a different way. One of the opposing players was down on the field, and he tried to tackle Tarkington 3 times in one play. And so he finally was giving up. He's laying down, wheezing on the field, and Alderman looks at him and says, "What are you doing?" He's still out running.
And yeah, you don't ever mention this guy in the GOAT conversation. How is that possible? He was the first dual threat quarterback in the modern era. But yet you guys don't talk about it. Your conversation starts and stops with Randall Cunningham, and Fran Tarkenton was much way before him. I mean, and now we're moving into the era of the Southern boy Terry Bradshaw.
Is isolated. Stepping up in the pocket, Bradshaw avoided D.D. Lewis, number 50, who had also blitzed, then threw that perfect 60-yard pass despite Larry Cole's brutal hit. Bradshaw suffered a concussion on the play and would not return. He never saw the catch.
Terry Bradshaw. Forget about the 4 Super Bowls. Did y'all see some of the throws that Terry Bradshaw made under pressure? Did y'all see some of the hits that he took? Are you kidding me? Did y'all see that Terry Bradshaw shredded secondaries? Forget about the immaculate reception. I hear you. The immaculate reception, well, that was an anomaly.
1 million to 1 odds on this one.
Ricochet out there off of Jack Tatum and into the man of the year, Franco Harris's hands.
Here's the miracle of all miracles.
But this dude didn't start and stop his career at the immaculate reception. And let's be honest, the immaculate reception was just a hope and a prayer. I'm talking about this dude would shred defenses. Oh, and I hear somebody, oh, well, he has such great receivers. Who gives a rat's ass? This dude had to stand in the pocket and thread the needle. And that's what he did. We ain't gonna even talk about Roger Staubach, right?
I still think of him in the most classically heroic way.
In the 1972 divisional playoff, the former naval officer demonstrated why he earned the nickname Captain Comeback, throwing 2 touchdowns in the final 2 minutes. Gave birth to the term Hail Mary.
Well, the Cowboys need a miracle. Roger takes the snap, pumps it once. He's going long. Down the near sideline for Drew Pearson. Pearson makes the catch at the 5. Touchdown! Would you believe it?
Roger the Dodger. Roger Staubach missed a comeback. Don't give him the ball with 2 minutes left on the game. He will beat your ass. They don't care if this dude threw 4 interceptions the whole game. He don't care. In the last minute, he will beat you. You know, I think about that, and I'm saying to myself, it seemed like 2 minutes left in the game back then was a lot longer than 2 minutes now. Anyway, I digress. But I'm just saying, Roger Staubach, Terry Bradshaw of the 70s, they got to be mentioned in the GOAT conversation. Are you kidding me? Are you really kidding me? Like, I'm being honest. I am so mad that I can't mention nobody like Ron Jaworski or Joe Theismann, and I can't bring these people up right now because all of these quarterbacks I'm naming should be in the GOAT conversation. And let me help y'all out. That was a few more quarterbacks. Kenny Stabler, the Snake, left-handed, the first left-handed quarterback that I know about. And man, he used to shred you. If I'm not mistaken, Kenny Stabler is in the Hall of Fame. Y'all never talk about him in the GOAT conversation. Are you kidding me? Did you see Stabler play? Did you see some of those heroics he used to do? How can he not be in the GOAT conversation? We talking about Bradshaw, we talking about Stabler, we talking about all these different quarterbacks, and you guys never mentioned them because you didn't see them play. And we're not going to even mention Dan Fouts. Are you kidding me? Do you know that Dan Fouts was the first quarterback in the NFL, and I think the record still stands now, today, that threw for 4,000 yards 3 years in a row?
editor Chris here. Since then, many other QBs have surpassed his 3 consecutive 4,000-plus passing yard season, but he still holds the record for leading the league in passing for 4 consecutive seasons. So,
Do you know how hard that was? His offense was averaging 500 yards a game. Didn't matter what the defense was. They just shredded your ass apart. Unfortunately, he never won a Super Bowl. He never won a Super Bowl, so you don't know who he is. Go back and watch him. He'll shock you. And then we get to the Dan Marinos.
I believe Marino is saying I'm going to spike it.
We are seeing another spectacular effort by Marino, who fires.
Way ahead of anything anybody else was doing at the time.
And Marino just put it up. Down the middle, touchdown.
We talk about breaking records. He didn't break records. He shattered records.
As Marino, quick drop, throws for the sideline. Caught!
Who? 5,000 yard season. Quickest release I've ever seen. Dan Marino was a nightmare. He was a nightmare to defenses. He took the 46 defense and just shredded them up when nobody else could do anything about them at that time. Shit, they came to Miami and found out. Then how y'all say these days, fucked around and found out? That's what Chicago did, because Dan Marino shredded them. Dan Marino should be in the GOAT conversation. John Elway, have y'all ever seen John Elway play?
Can do that, scramble to the left, throw across the field. That's not an arm, that's a gun.
It's been true again today. Play action fake. Elway with time. Going for Smith. He's got it. Touchdown.
That dude had a shotgun for an arm. That was illegal. That's illegal. You shouldn't be able to throw the ball that damn distance. I mean, Doug Williams.
And Williams going 80 yards from the 28. Williams for Clark. Scott, he's thrown for 210 yards, and Smith wide open. 40, 30, inside the 20. Timmy Smith going down. Fake to Smith. Williams deep for Sanders again. Makes the catch at the 10. And he lost it for Didier. And his
first black quarterback to win a Super Bowl. Shredded. Just shredded the Denver Broncos. I'm just saying, all of these guys can be named in the GOAT, right? And let's not forget, which is where this part of this segment is going to end. Because I want to stay on him for at least a minute and a half. We ain't going to forget Joe Montana. And that's where the GOAT conversation truly begins. Because y'all mentioned Joe in this. And let me explain something to y'all. None of those guys, Joe Montana, Terry Bradshaw, Roger Staubach, John Elway, Dan Marino, none of those guys would have been even thought about if it wasn't for the Fran Tarkentons and the Joe Namaths and all those guys. Do you understand? They birthed those guys. Every time a quarterback came in, the game evolved. And Joe Montana was one that evolved it. 180 pounds, skinny as all outdoors, no strength in his arm, but so accurate and knew how to beat you. Smart on the field. I mean, with talent, without talent, Joe was still the man. And you knew, no matter how much you beat him up, no matter how much you beat his ass, you give him that ball with the game on the line, that's your ass. And in the Super Bowl, he shined even more. So let's not forget, as I end this first segment of the anatomy of the GOAT, Joe Montana, in most people's eyes, is the GOAT of the NFL. But we're going to keep talking about this. This is part 1. This is your boy Swag. Peace. I'm out.
yeah.